This is Straitjacket Podcast. I'm Rachel Honda, LCSW, licensed clinical social worker, and this is Jeff.
My name is Jeff, representative of Mental Health Resource.
And our guest today is Jake Query, who is a behavioral health counselor. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Tell us a little bit about your story.
All right. I was born in 88 in the county of Los Angeles with my family. And they split up when I was 5, and I moved to South Orange County at 5 years old. And in a middle class, it was slightly, I had a slight advantage just because my family had a lot of love. I had 2 brothers. Grew up playing sports, hockey, in good schools. Until around high school came around, I was just seeking validation, status, easy money, quick money. I was glamorized by the gangs and the prison life, and which ultimately ended me up in prison. I started selling heroin at a young age and was pretty reckless with my behavior, and landed myself in prison. I did 10 years in really active political. Like I said, man, I got caught up in it and had my hand raised and just went in full force and learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about other people, and just what life's really about when you go without for so long. And it wasn't one stretch, you know. I get caught for sales, 2-3 years or so, get out and have about a 3-month expiration and go right back. And that happened through my entire 20s. And I put myself through a lot of situations that I never would have thought as a child, growing up, you know. A lot of violence, and just until I got out, and I thought I really wanted to change my ways. And last time I got out of prison, 2019, I just fell back in the same thing. Started selling, started living the pleasure seeking, pleasure chasing, and hanging out with the wrong crowd. And also, while I was in prison, I joined a gang, and I always had my hand raised because, like I said, I was seeking that validation. I was never really, I don't know, man. I would do stuff for other people, it seemed like, and just about my ego, and put me in a lot of isolation. I did 3 years in isolation, and well, when I got out, I started doing the same thing, but I was able to catch myself. My last arrest, it really hit home because, you know, my grandma raised me, and she was declining. And my last arrest, I got arrested in a foot pursuit right outside her house. And and that was always my biggest fear, was her dying while I was incarcerated. And got busted right in front of her house. I told him, look, man, I got a lot of things on me. Just walk me to the car. Don't pull it out in front of her. And they did. And ultimately I got arrested, and I bailed out. And when I bailed out, I came to a program. Well, I fought a case. I was fighting that case and got sentenced to do 9 months at a treatment center with 4 years over my head. And I was done, man. I needed something new. But I didn't know it at the time. You know, I came to this program just kind of trying to finesse and just wing it, and I wasn't, I felt I hit rock bottom, but I wasn't ready to change yet. And I took that time. I did the 9 months in the program, which was impressed my whole family and friends. They couldn't believe it. And I took that time to really self-invest, self-develop, and learn more about myself. And I've been to many, and with the same attitude going in it. And it just nothing ever really clicked for me. Nothing ever really sat home or made me get out of my head and realize what's really going on with my life until till I came to that program, and I loved the people around me. I started realizing, man, my family's getting old. You know, I did 11 years, and I can do more time, but it's just so selfish. I messed my mom's heart up. She's on heart medications, and I just need to grow up, man. You know, I need to grow up. I stopped gangbanging. I didn't go out backwards. I'm still there, but my friends respect where I'm at, you know, and I grew out of it, as well as the drug dealing and the violence, and the place I was at just really gave me space to work on myself, and since then I've been reading a lot and listening to motivational things, and reading philosophy passages, and really let it resonate with me, man. I've been journaling. I got into a morning routine that's changed my life. You know, I dropped my ego and just really like helping other people, man. I use that morning time as solitude to work on myself, so I can carry that man throughout the day and just be the best man I can be, helping other people. Because love is a verb, gratitude is everything, man. I just wake up so grateful nowadays, and I love helping other people. I don't like sharing my story too much, but I feel I've been through a lot to where I have answers people can a lot of people can understand me because I've been through so much, you know. I understand a lot, and I can't really articulate it too well verbally, but the energy's there, and I'm working on it, and it helps me just as much as I can help other people, and that's where I am today, man. I still have that probation going on, and let's cut that part out. And that's where I'm at today, and life's great, man. It's I just feel truly blessed to be here and surrounded by the people I'm with, and still in my family, my life, and things are going good, man.
Man, that was a lot. I think the first question that I have is just based on the nature of the podcast. Was mental what part of mental health was part of your journey, or do you not really think about it, or like?
I'd say just from my mental witness, if I were to just sit back in my mind and look at myself from a bird's eye view, anxiety really construed me, and I was never really depressed, although PTSD is there as well, but just not so often. I'd say anxiety riddled me through my upbringing, to where I would kind of act out a character not aligned with my principles, just because I just wasn't in the moment. I don't know, but anxiety has always been a big one for me.
It's like a big thing that probably, it sounds like has helped you out, is just kind of being present, being in the moment, meditation. I know you talked about your morning routine. Is there anything else that you kind of have used nowadays to help you out with your anxiety?
I just try to, if I feel it, I just replace it with the word energy, man. Anxiety is just energy to be used, you know, and because typically you just construct some agenda in your head that hasn't happened yet, and it'll just run a train on you and paralyze you. And I like to say, God has everything worked out, what we get worked up over, and I try to use anxiety as energy to to do what needs to be done, or to do what I think should be done, you know.
What do they call that in the clinical field? It's like reframing or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah, reframing. And so you said you spent 3 years in isolation. How did that affect your mental health, and how did you get through it?
It was tough times. It was a political event that brought me there. And what it was a 3x8 wall. You can touch the walls if you spread your wings,
Oh
and
my gosh.
there was no windows. And you get a shower. I would bird bath on the toilet every day typically, but if you were to shower, they come in your cell and just take whatever. You don't get store. You don't. You got nothing coming. 45 hours a day, you'll get to go to a day room in some sector, but I read a lot. That's where I picked up drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I started to draw a lot, and I would from my sack lunch, I would draw a chessboard on the sack lunch and draw out little chess pieces, and on the horizon you label it A through H and then 1 through 8. And I
That's
would
how
play
you got
chess
so
with
good. Okay.
someone I never met in the vents. I would stand on my toilet and say, pawn from H2 to H4.
Mm-hmm.
And
So you just be playing some random person in there?
then, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. And just reading a lot. And I would still, I would look forward to my court dates because you get to get out. I would look forward to any kind of movement. But really, I'd probably work out an hour or two a day and study for 4. I would read a lot.
What would you say some of the biggest things that you've gathered were, or I guess the biggest things that you've learned from that time period in your life?
Being incarcerated, you get completely stripped of everything. Especially if you go to prison, that includes the people you talk to. And sometimes I'd be sitting there for months. We get slammed down for anywhere from 6 months to longer, and you can play so many cards or read, but you're just waiting on that letter or that visit, and I would get mad, man. I would just be like, where the fuck are these people, man? Where? And and I started looking at it like I learned unconditional love because I love them. Like whatever they're going through, I'm just gonna send love their way. Fuck my letter, fuck my visit. They got something going on, and I'm just being selfish, man. I'm up in Susanville, which is by Oregon, and also, you being stripped of all that sensory shit, you learn to read body language real well, and just the energy, but I learned a lot about other people. You see some of these, because I did my time in some really hard places, man. I've been at Pelican Bay, High Desert, and some really raw and violent, gnarly people. And you see them, and then you see them going to the phone stressing their people for money because they're in a debt because they're using drugs, and I just saw that as a ultimate sign of weakness, man. And I tried to pledge to myself I wouldn't be using drugs. I never did that, man. I had hustles. I tattooed a lot. But just being able to sit and people watch and learn about other people, and you live in a bathroom with another man, you with no cell phone, no TV. Well, sometimes TV, but you learn to adjust, and you got no choice, man. So you just sometimes I would wake up early and not even say anything, be quiet and just do my thing, but just it seems like the room's so small, the energy will wake up. When someone next to you, it's a strange thing, and mostly about body language and other people's characters, and gave me time to reflect on my own. And you see the people you admire and the traits they possess, and I would just try to possess those. And you also see the traits that make other people look soft, the shit you don't respect, their conduct, and these little quirks that stick out, and you just try to eliminate it and extinguish it from yourself, and because I never really had, I was just so involved in the quick money and the homeboys and all that. I never really felt like I had a purpose, and so I would just drift around. And as I go, and I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's not a good way to live, man. You're just circumstantial. You wait for circumstances to go your way, and it's just.
It's not gonna.
Yeah, it's not gonna. Or it's not. That's not really who you are when shit's going your way. You need to. When shit's not going your way, and the self-talk you have, and that's also why I don't even like going to the gym. I don't even like working out. But just doing shit I don't like doing things I know that'll build me. You're gonna hit a wall every week or so where you don't want to do it. But that's the only way to level up is when you climb that wall and just keep pushing. Because in prison, man, everything is a matter of respect, and you see people. The only way you get respect is you can't hide either. It's not like you can go hide or make excuses. You live in the same building, and it's your program, your conduct, your character, and your word, and you see people for who they are real quick, And I just, like I said, I would see people I admire or respect, and I would just take those traits and try to possess them and apply it to my life. And I'm trying to build the man that I want to give to the world, man. The man that I would want, that I always want. So I had older brothers, but the man I always wanted and the man I looked up to, that's who I want to try and be.
What were some of those characteristics of the people that you respected in there? Or I guess...
Discipline.
Discipline.
Honor, obviously, but discipline's a big one, People you see that are there every day. They show up every day. They're accountable. They're not thinking about themselves. They're more stoic. They're looking out for their people, and you could tell that they respect themselves, and so they're able to give the actual respect out. And, just people who don't lie, people who hold their words, and it's easy to point out, and people who didn't use drugs. Yeah.
What would you say was the worst part about prison?
There's been times where the yard's going to go off the next day or the day or two.
Mm-hmm.
And
what does that mean for the viewers? What go off?
Say a riot. So I'm in the white car and say, we know when the doors crack for yard or breakfast that the Mexicans, if there's some kind of tension with the Mexicans or disrespect or a theft it's most commonly a drug debt that's reached its limit. But a riot's coming, and you're on a yard where there's no fights, so you got some kind of metal and just sleeping on it. And you got to sleep on it and try to. I mean, not many people sleep when they know it's coming up. It's scary shit, man. I've been in knife fights with dudes bigger than me. And it's fucking scary, So I'd say, and also when you get caught for this shit and you get sent to the hole, and it's not just like 90 days lost time. You could turn your 4-year term into 15 real quick.
Wow.
And just not knowing, Me personally, that's happened. I had to do what I had to do, and I was able to run to a cell with a broken window and have my buddy flush it, and they still got me for it, and they were throwing large numbers out at the board, and but the evidence they collected was already a log number of someone else's, and the case got dropped, and I just had to do some whole time. But things like that, where you don't know what's gonna happen to you, and you really start thinking about your people and your family. Just the madness behind it all, you know. That was what the hardest part for me was.
The lack of control.
The violence,
of your life.
because you can conduct yourself accordingly, but if someone in your car, which is your race, is acting up, it involves all of you. So it's like you can't avoid it, you know. So
I could see how that could cause some PTSD.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just like it seems like there's like a lack of control, you know, basically of your fate. Is there any, I don't know how much I really wanted to get into this. But what about what is it like that the, you know, I guess system is doing for this whole thing? Not like the prison, the people in the prison, but like the people, I guess, running it.
What is it doing for them?
Yeah, like what is it doing in like situations like this? Because it seems like, you know, the reason that you're going is, I mean, what they're saying is to like help you, right? Or like so that you can reform, but it's like it seems like there's situations where you have no real control of it, like your fate. Like say somebody's there, right? They're trying to reform, they're trying to do everything right. They're stuck in a situation where, you know, they have to do something, you know, because like it's a riot, and it's just kind of unfortunate, right? Like you just kind of get caught in the crosshair.
Yeah.
Almost. That's so funny. Somebody from prison jail is calling me right now. Like, okay.
Because you have to do what you have to do to survive
Yeah.
That's the
in
thing,
prison.
that like it comes to mind is just they're there to do your job, but once if you're on the other side of things, there's not many. If you're a GP, general population, the politics are so strict that you don't really have a choice of what's going on. You're going to answer to someone, and regardless of who you are, prison's a numbers game. And if you want to try to go against the grain, 4 or 5 people will show you real quick you won't.
Mm-hmm.
And so when these things go on, it's just constant. And the cops, they just do what they got to do, man. I mean, I've been sprayed a lot. I never got hit with a block gun or seen someone in the yard get killed, but they're on the next yard, you know, there's signs all over. It's warning, no warning shots. They got those mini 14s and they're trained to kill, man. There's some cool COs, and there's those other ones that just power trip, that have some going on with themselves, where they just like to ruin people's, you know, day.
They're just having a bad day and taking it out.
Yeah. You know, they come here and they're often fucking nerds that just have some kind of authority they like to flex. But like I said, there's other ones that are decent and understand the pain that you go through, and you know,
Yeah.
you're not going home. A lot of people. I was able to. I was fortunate.
What do you think is mental health? What type of mental health would you say is very prevalent in that system?
I mean, there's just a lot of anger and a lot of depression. You know, you're so far from home, and you just got, after 3 minutes in a cop car, 3 days in a cell, 3 months, you start losing shit, and 3 years more, you start losing your people, but you know, there's a lot of sadness, man, a lot of sadness.
Mm-hmm. What's the advice like you would give to your younger self to maybe like change what happened?
That's a great question. Because in the end, you know, I'm grateful for everything that's happened to me.
Mm-hmm. It's made you who you are. Yeah.
And I would have liked to have been around more for my grandma. I would have liked to have been a little more reliable for my family. Just the street scene and the homeboys and all that crap was my priority, and I would have changed that. I would like to be there a little more for my family.
Yeah.
Maybe stuck to some kind of sports or skateboarding, or use that ambition I had for drug dealing into something a little more prideful.
Mm-hmm. Do you think a lot of people end up in the like criminal justice system because, like, kind of what you were saying, like not having purpose, but like
I think it's pretty common with the youth or the younger generation to like I did, just glamorize that gangster lifestyle, the easy money, and you don't really have regrets as a kid. Cut that part out, please. What was your question?
I don't even remember.
But you don't, because you see some shit and you go into it, or you wanna try this new endeavor. You wanna try, and for me, it was like trying to make a name for myself, and it's not till older, after you keep running the same wall every time, and you get these regrets. Regret is your guideline. You know, people who say they don't have no regrets, you don't have a choice with regret. You feel it, and that's just a hookup from your better self telling you to knock that shit off. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, you know, and it's never like I just hated myself, so I got into addiction, or I had trauma or abused, or it was none of that. I hung out with friends that I looked up to, and they used, and I just kind of followed that bread trail of crumbs into a massive addiction.
Mm-hmm. When you got out, or when you would get out of prison, was it hard for you to like get back to society? And in what ways? Not so many times when I would get out, because I would fall right back into the drug dealing. I'll fall right back, you know. It would be hard for me to maintain it. It's really easy for me to just cut people out, and I lose everything, and it didn't mean anything to me, and it's hard for me to really invest in relationships or invest in self, because I would just always be in, and it would be hard to adjust. I could never find stability. Mm-hmm. I never seeked it. I just knew I'd be going back to prison, or jail, or a violation. I was just a train wreck with no plan B, and instantly just on the run, and instantly just every day I'd leave the house, it'd be some kind of drama, some kind of trouble, and I just knew it'd be coming. But like when I got caught in front of my grandma's house, even though I just bailed out, you know, getting out that time, it shifted my perspective on what I need to do, and and just maybe it'd be hard just building relationships, because I'm just so in my own ways, and I couldn't accept what I needed to do to be a better person, and that last time I did. Mm-hmm.
What changed for you?
Just how I saw myself, you know. Being a loser is a choice, and I was a loser for so long. Being fat's a choice, being addiction's a choice. You know, what changed for me is everything. I had to make a complete change, and really listen to my conscience, and because your conscience, you know, it guides you, and a lot of times I just get in my own way and rationalize, but this time my conscience, it was loud. It tell me, man, you need to fucking shape up. You need to get straight. You need to do these things. And I started adhering to it, and things started to change. You know, it's bringing me on this path that, you know, I have a beautiful life today.
So obviously you've, you know, had a part in your consequences, but is there a time or multiple times where you felt like it was unjust?
There were many times where I felt like it was unjust. Especially, I don't know, well, it was even before I signed for gang terms. You know, just living in Orange County, there must not be a lot of crime. I mean, I thought there was a whole lot more to do than mess with me, but there's been times where just they recognize me and they want to fuck with me. There's been times where they've beat me up in handcuffs. Well, that doesn't sound right. I can go into that a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you start living that life and really garnering that kind of name you put for yourself and living that, the cops, they have your number, and they want you to know that they know. They would recognize me and pull me over. True story, in Laguna Niguel, they planted evidence on me and arrested me for a sales charge, and that I had no idea where they got what they got me for from. There's been times where I'm walking down the street when they had people pulled over and they recognized me and let the dude go and took me to jail. And couple times I've been beat up, and I've never fought back. The most recent time being, I moved into a condo in Costa Mesa. I was doing all right. I wasn't kicking up much dust or causing ruckus. It was a condo I rented from some lady and her son, and to get to the front door, my neighbor and I, we shared like a walkway to our front doors, and to get to my apartment, you would turn left, and to get to his. And I had the front room, so if you were to look out my window from my room, you'd be able to see down that walkway and out the street. Well, my neighbor, I've caught him on 2-3 different occasions just looking in my window, which I thought was really strange. But at the same time, he had a newborn baby, and I had traffic coming into the house that looked like shady characters, perhaps. I understood why he would be kind of scoping me out. But on the third or fourth time, I was going to say something. But on a certain night, I'd been up for a couple days, and I took some hallucinogens. And I dozed off, and my lava lamp that I had going on in my room, I was alone. My lava lamp overheated and broke, and I had a nightmare that my neighbor shot me through the window. And I've been shot at before too, and you know, I woke up, there was broken glass on the floor. I panicked. I thought he was coming in my house for whatever reason. And so I punched a couple holes through the door thinking I'd catch him. It was my bedroom door. It was one of those hollow ones. It wasn't difficult, but it made a lot of noise. Anyways, I was panicking. I was in a psychosis almost, and my roommates came downstairs. Hey, Jake, are you all right? You all right? And I said, no, I'm not. I don't know if I've been shot. I don't even know if I'm dead. Am I bleeding? And all I was wearing was board shorts. I had no shirt on, and I was like spinning laps, just pulling my hair out. And the lady's son said, "Yeah, bud, you did die. You're in purgatory right now." And that's what I was thinking before he even said that. Mm-hmm. And I wigged out, and I punched him a few times. I wouldn't say I beat him up because he didn't fight back, but I punched him really hard. And his mom called the cops. And whatever she had said to them, they came. The whole street was full of them. The whole street was lined up with them. They got their megaphone out and, Query, come out with your hands behind your back, walk backwards, all that. And I was still tripping very hard on the hallucinations, and they had guns drawn to me, and sirens were lit up, and it was pretty gnarly, man. And when I walked back to them, they cuffed me up, and there's so many of them, and it caused such a scene. There was about probably 12, 15 of them. Neighbors came outside, and they were talking to these neighbors. And I was sitting on the curb handcuffed. I thought, I was talking to like 3 or 4 of them they were acting cool with me, and I told them, hey man, I'm going to adjust my handcuffs from behind me to just underneath my legs while I'm sitting on this curb. And I did that, and a cop from over here seen that, and he just, like stone cold, he just stunned me, dude. And he fucking head first dipped me, and the bravado of the cops, man, if they all got each other's backs, and they all just jumped on me. I was like squirming around. I wasn't able to fight back, but I was yelling, someone fucking help, record this shit. And they twisted me up, man. They twisted up my ankle. I was basically being suffocated. It was like that, that black dude from the South because they had me in a headlock, bro. They ruptured my eardrum. Dude, they jumped on me bad, and they sent me to, they 52-50'd me. And for about 2 weeks, I felt like I had wet wood in my ear. I couldn't hear things. When I went like this, my ear would whistle. And I couldn't walk on my foot for like 3 months, man. And I lost my job. I lost my apartment. But that's just par for the course. But what I'm getting at is just once you start going to prison all the time and just keep running just keep bumping your head and doing the same dumb shit, you get the cops' attention, and I take a little part of that too, even though what they do a lot of times on the streets is unfair. But they just must be bored, They told my friend's dad one time, that time they planted evidence, they said, yeah, when we need to meet our quota, we just go see Jake. They planted evidence on me that time. It's just wild, man.
He said they would just like go to your mom's house
all the time. When I lived in Laguna Niguel, they would go there, gooned out, vests, helmets, unnecessary, and just rip the house apart, dude. It was bad, man. They knew my dog's name. Hey, throw Moose in the backyard. We're coming in. Like, fuck, man. And they beat me up before. I wouldn't fight back. I know better. As much as I want to, at that point you're not gonna win. But they would just beat me up, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's hard because I'm sure there's some great cops, and then there's some who are just, I guess, trying to see where they could get you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So now that you're a behavioral health counselor, like, how has that changed you, and like, how does that inspire you now?
Let's talk about how you got to where you're at right now.
So, yeah, like I was saying earlier, I had to do 9 months at a treatment center, and you know, I've tried my own way so many times, and just ended up with the same result. And so this time I really looked within, man, and started gathering knowledge and just learning who I was, and, you know, not so much what I want to do, but just following the path of what God's got laid out for me, and kind of just being a better person. You know, I dropped the vices, dropped the ego, grew faith, and and it helped me so much that it seems like the only thing, you know, just to share the answer and help other people and tell them how I did it, and it came down to just discipline and service work, man. You know, helping other people is just it's gratifying, and it's rewarding, and it keeps me out of my way. It keeps me out of my own way. You know, I always get in my way and self-sabotage, and but since I've been sober this time, and I just, you know, helping people, I feel like all the trauma and shit you put yourself in through is the prerequisite of your purpose. And, you know, I've been through some things, and went through addiction and lost everything, and I found what worked for me, and I'm still on this path, and I just want to share it and help other people that are struggling.
Is there any advice that you would have for somebody, I guess, going through a similar situation to what you were going through? I know there was a lot, but I'd say at the beginning, like when you were getting on this course.
Just do things you know what not to do, and just do things that would make your family proud, and do things that would make yourself proud. Because if you're not proud of yourself, no one's going to be proud of you. And if you fall into addiction and bad habits and substance use, it's just, there's really only two ends to that, and that's incarceration or death. And you know, just, I don't know, I would try and think of what I should have thought. I don't know, I should have thought a little more about other people, because, you know, through all that shit I put myself in, it affected a lot more than me. I was collateral damage to my whole family, the ones that believed in me, my friends that cared, and it's just stay on track. You know, get a craft, get a passion, you know, shoot for it. I don't know.
Yeah, you can create purpose and meaning through anything. So it could be like the bad stuff that's going to get you caught or in prison, or it could be, like you said, passions, hobbies, helping others, connection. Yeah.
You know, working in the as a mental health technician?
Behavioral health counselor.
Okay. You know, we got a lot of people that struggle with mental health, and whether it's anxiety or depression or anything, man, it's just, we have the answers internally. And if you were to just quit all your bullshit, quit your vices, eat healthy, work out, you're not going to need to try and believe guidance from some decrepit old fat doctor telling you have depression, to take more pills. These are just internal notifications to change, I believe. My mom's got depression, my family's got depression, and it just drives me nuts that they don't do anything about it but just have negative self-talk. It infects whoever they're around, and depression is just a magnification of the past, that of the wrongs you've done or the shit you should have done, and I think anxiety is just something you're tripping about in the future, and I don't believe in medications.
Okay, don't say that. Some people may need medication, but that's not the only thing they should do. They definitely have to do therapy and medication.
It needs to be action.
If you're hungry, that's your body telling you should eat.
Yeah.
If you're depressed, that's your body telling you need to fucking change something. You need to do something.
You need to take action.
Which is true. Action. And there's also some people with a chemical imbalance that need some assistance, but they can't solely rely on medication without doing the other stuff. 40% of our happiness is based off of intentional activities. So if they're not doing anything, then yeah, of course the depression's going to go up, and the anxiety and everything else.
That's kind of a weird one for me, because like I do think that sometimes somebody might need something to help them take action. Like maybe they're like literally, there's just some reason they can't, but then a lot of these medications are stuff that you have to continuously take. And I've encountered a lot of people that have had some pretty negative side effects from them. So
some of them make them more suicidal. So I definitely think that there's some who are overprescribed for sure and who might not need it, and then there are some who do.
When you accept it and start taking these medications, you prescribe yourself to the idea that you're depressed. And it's just.
But sometimes labeling can help in order to figure out what you need to do about it. So, okay.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. It was really cool having you.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right.
Cool.